Welcome to episode 3 of the Qeason, the unofficial official podcast of the QIIHL, the best darn hockey league in all of Doha, Qatar. All of Qatar, actually.
Araj Bay Tower number 4, Doha, Qatar.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome into the episode. Just if you are back home in Canada or wherever you are in the place to play hockey, just like showing you, this is what, February, what's today? February 17th?
No,
17th?
Yeah.
A couple of days after Valentine's Day, and could be worse. Could be worse for life, could be worse for us, the desert heat, because we had a good day today, didn't we?
Our team,
Yeah,
had a good day.
We had a good day. We had
So you want to talk about those,
we'll talk about that and then we'll come back.
stampede into today's games, or do you want to go with a recap of the exhibition game first?
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about the exhibition. So, for Sports Day, which is one of the national holidays in Qatar, where everybody's supposed to go out and play sports, my team, well, most of our team, kind of a hodgepodge and some other guys, got to play against the Qatar national team at a new stadium which has opened up in Al Sadd. It was been open, been on, off, and it was one of those things where if you've been living in Qatar for a while, you forget how flippin' ultra things can be here every now and again, right?
Some of these things just come up again. Like, as Derek's referencing, the El Sadd ice rink is a civic arena. Basically, it's a multiplex that was built.
Not like any civic arena I've ever seen.
Yeah, so it's like I think it was built, I'm going to say around 2016. Now, don't quote me on that. I think it was around then.
It was built for the handball.
Yeah,
the
mainly
handball, right?
Mainly for handball, but multi-purpose arena. And in 2016, I believe we were fortunate enough to get in there for some shinny games, some practice games towards the beginning of our season. So we got in there in August of that year, I believe, for some shinny games, with all due purpose of possibly playing regular season games there as our main venue. As you're probably not aware, but we play most of our games, if not all of them, at Bellagio Gondolini Ice Rink at Bellagio Mall. But this was a new state-of-the-art venue that the Qatari government had built for multiple sports, and we were lucky enough to go in there for a trial run, shall we say.
Well, it was built, I think originally the intent was to build them all for the handball. They had the World Handball Championships, which after they had that, which is kind of the first big world event that Qatar had, they kind of got a roll, and that's led to the Football World Cup. So this is like a direct line to that. But there's all over Qatar, there's these sort of about 5,000-6,000 seat stadiums, something like that, I'd say, right?
Yeah.
Really nice, but this one might be the nicest.
Yeah, and they got a jumbotron right in the middle with a normal, but state-of-the-art scoreboard. You wouldn't know if you were in a normal NHL rink that seats
it would be
16
like
to 17,000. I don't know what the capacity is there. What would you say?
I think it's 6,000-7,000.
6,000-7,000. But you get the picture. It's kind of the same setup as an NHL or AHL rink in Canada.
If I can figure out how to embed video, I'll put some videos in.
Yeah, so anyway, back then we were able to get in for a few games, and we were anticipating that maybe we'd be lucky enough to get in for the season, play in. We played about 2 or 3 shinny games that year, then we, boom, cease and desist. We didn't hear anything more from the locals about accessibility, whether or not we were going to be able to go in there anymore and play, so we did our own thing. Now this year we were hearing that, rumblings of it opening up again, and sure enough, we had an exhibition game. So Thanks. You can tell them a little bit about the...
So we played against Qatar national team, and to be fair, they haven't been playing for a while. It was great to see. Like, actually made me miss the Qatari guys. It was good to see Zuzu, Jamal, all those guys who play in our league, but for whatever reasons, they're kind of not playing this year. They're figuring their stuff out. But you walk in, there's your own lockers. Everything's brand new. There's jacuzzis, some crazy electronic massage tables, and then you go in the ice. There's the stadium. I was saying, I was with there's some East Coast guys there, and I was trying to figure out, east of Montreal, how many stadiums like would even be close to that, like 7,000 seats, like let alone the quality, just that size. You wouldn't have more than a couple.
No.
Right?
No.
You would have like maybe a couple things, but then on top of the size, you've just got there's a bank of VVIP seats, which are very nice and sort of sitting over with these like really nice leathery chairs, and then to the sides of those is the VVIP seats, which look like hotel rooms sort of hanging over the edge of the stadium. And I just caught myself staring at these things about 4, just thinking, where am I right now? What is this place? I hope we get to play there again. I hope we get back to that stadium. Now I think if that's there and we got the stadium just up the road at Bellagio, we can start hosting tournaments, right? Can't we start getting Oman and the rest of the Gulf Coast in here, and maybe even teams from elsewhere, right? Come down, and those two stadiums right in the middle of the city.
Yeah, so hopefully we're able to get in there on a more permanent basis, maybe, and we'll see how it goes. And so the game was in itself was
good game. I mean, they haven't been playing for a while. We had a ragtag. And we had Jesse, which we'll talk about later. But Jesse's a bit of a extra sauce, right? If you were.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. Really good to see those guys play again.
So basically, that's where we're at on that. We're waiting to hear more about the possibility of playing there. We'll see how as it goes, as the season progresses. I've had some major complaints, mainly from my daughter, she's crying that foul that we made a cardinal sin, Beggs and I. We haven't introduced ourselves. We've kind of just said we're Greg and Beggs, and that's about it. So we're going to do this now the proper way. We're going to introduce ourselves. I'm Greg Scott. I've been in Doha, Qatar for a number of years, and this is my cohort, Derek Begley. So I'm going to defer to you, Beggs. Basically ask you to give us a little insight into your being here in Doha, your hockey career, how you came to be in Doha, and the floor is yours.
So I was originally also on the Blythe pipeline, although I've been here for 9 years, something like that. I came over with another school, realized it wasn't going to work out. I'm an educator. Been here for 9 years. It's been great and grand. Had a lot of good times. Opened up a surf school in Sri Lanka, which you never wouldn't have been on the bingo card 15 years ago. So you never know. In terms of hockey, this I'm representing is East Main, Quebec. It's it's a Cree Nation community on the James Bay, the Quebec side of the James Bay coast in northern Quebec. If you went to Montreal and you drove straight for 18 hours, you'd get to East Main. Last 8, there's not a building in sight. And I went there having never played hockey before. I always played sports. I was a wrestler. I fought all different kinds of things. And then I got to East Main, and hockey was the only thing in town. And I started off banging into the boards, falling down everywhere. Took the skates out. Started with the pee-wee kids. I think even the the 4 and 5 year olds, right? I was one step above having the chair. Just kept skating, kept playing with them, and then for 3 years playing res hockey. Amazing players there, amazing. That's Adam Qeason, some really young, unbelievable skaters, and guys we went down, played in Quebec, played in the OHL, and it's really amazing to see what they come from and what they play. But that's where I got the bug, and then came to Doha. I didn't play for a couple years, kept my eye sort of around it, and then got stuck in, and that's where I ran into you.
How would you describe your hockey acumen? Are you what you would call Are you a power forward? Are you a grinder? Are you?
I am a grinder with a capital G and we'll add the E, right? No, I am definitely. I go to the net. I try and get my stick on things, and I do the best that I can. I try not to fall down. That's pretty much. I'm falling down less than I was, but that's pretty much. I know my role. I practice, get in front of the net.
Having an MMA. Derek has an MMA background. He actually did do not professional fights.
No, I had some professional fights.
Some professional fights as an MMA guy, so he can mix it up in the corners, I'm sure, and then we get him to go to the front of the net and dig his heels in there, and hopefully it bounces off his lid or something.
Trying to throw the ball. Yeah, that's it. Put it off me and hope for the best, right? That's what it's. I tell you, we videoed the game against the Qataris, and I mean, you picture what you're skating like. Maybe you think this was going on. And I saw myself. Oh, wow, I didn't realize it was like that. That's some Lego man. There's some legs going, but I'm not going forward very quickly.
It's not actual like Pavel Bure.
That's not Pavel. Me and Pavel Bure's got nothing to worry about. So let's talk to you, Greg. I think you've been here longer than I have, right?
Yeah, man. I've been here in Doha since 2003. Originally came over with my wife, and we started work at the College of the North Atlantic, which is now UDST, University of Doha for Science and Technology. So it came over in 2003, and my wife at the time came before me. So when I came later in the fall of that year, 2003. She had already been here for a couple of months. And I said, well, I'm going to bring my golf clubs. It's nice, the weather is nice. It's 40 degrees. And she goes, well, you're going to want to bring your hockey gear as well. I was like, really?
What now?
Hockey? She said, yeah, they're playing hockey. It's a smaller rink. It's at the city center, but they're playing hockey twice, 3 times a week. So I said, really? So I brought my gear over, a little bit apprehensive as to what she meant by hockey. And as you heard from our initial podcast, the original one, we did start off at the city center 4-on-4 with the liquid ball and all that stuff. So I've been here since 2003. I've seen guys come and go. There's only probably 3 or 4 guys, Kerry Suick, Kevin Sage maybe. I think they're the only ones that were here before me, and they're still running wild on the league as well. So we may have one of those guys come, or both of them come in as a guest sometime during a future podcast. So I've seen a lot of guys come and go. The hockey's been great for us expats. It's a great outlet, a great way to relieve stress from work and get out there and enjoy camaraderie with the guys. And we've done several tournaments. We've done travel tournaments. We've done Desert Cup tournaments here, and it just continues to grow. We've battled the COVID war, and seemed like there's light at the end of the tunnel now. We're getting back into the swing of things, and new members are coming all the time. So hockey here in Doha is good.
I think hockey in Doha has been a real case of, if you build it, like, it's just been people with a desire to play hockey, because it was a figure skating or like a kid's rink that was just, who knows why it was built, and then people started playing hockey, and then Villaggio and all came along, and they put in it's been a series of just people wanting to play hockey. How can we make this work, right? And Greg's been around long enough, like, to understand Doha, part of understanding, like, where we are right now. When Greg first came here, what was this? Middle of the ocean?
Well, when I came here, the biggest or the tallest building was maybe Sheraton Hotel.
Right.
And now we're in the Lusail part of town, which is an expansion of Doha and the commercial entities that Doha is. You're seeing money just flowing here. So they have the oil and gas, and the money is really flowing. Consequently, we're seeing a lot of developments everywhere in Doha, and it's just a polar opposite from when I came here in 2003. Like
literally,
I said,
the entire we're on an island. Sometimes you see that picture if you're flying to Doha. If people are know, the Pearl, that entire thing did not exist when Greg was here. That was the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, there was no skyline per se. Now the skyline is one of the largest probably anywhere. I mean, you look at any of the big city skylines, and Doha's right there with all of them. Other than maybe New York, I don't know. And
so tell us about your hockey past. What's your hockey story?
My hockey story is I grew up playing minor hockey in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, and I was fringe player. I wasn't a great player. Made some all-star teams. Played a little bit of junior hockey. Never played any senior hockey. Kind of rec hockey since I've been 22 years old. Just been rec hockey since then. And played off and on over the years back home. And people ask me all the time when they knew I was here in Doha, so you're playing hockey? You only get out for a skate every now? No, my man. I play more rec hockey in Doha than I did back home in Newfoundland. So, yeah, it surprises a lot of people, and been playing since 2003 and been captain of the Qatar Canucks squad that we travel with for years, and that's basically
Steven
story.
Pinto said that one of the players in the league said that about, he said, like, I play so much more hockey than I used to play back in Scarborough, just because you're not having he'd be playing at 11:30 at night on a Friday sort of thing, and now there's tons of hockey, it's all happening. So
yeah.
Well, that's our story, and let's move on to talking about this week's games, because there were some beauties.
Yeah, we had that Sunday night. We had some good games. We had 2 tie games. Seems like ties are the word of the week.
Row, right?
Three or 4 ties in a row. So the early game on Friday pitted a rematch between the Ice Cats and the Oil Kings, and that ended up being a 2-2 draw in a hotly contested game. It didn't lack any offensive opportunities, but it was a strict defensive game. The goalies played well, and it was a 2-2 tie. The second game was the Bashers, and who did the Bashers play? Surfers, right?
Yeah.
And that was also a 3-3 tie, and both games were hotly contested. So we had some good games going on earlier this week, and that leads us into our games on
Tuesday?
On Tuesday we had the Kings again, and they were able to double up on the Bashers 6-3.
I was repping that game. It was a good game, very tight game until the Bashers got a little bit tired, and
of course, the Kings were probably going with their status quo 9 guys, 3 on the back end.
Might have been.
So that seems to be the way they're going to roll right now, and it benefits them late in the game for sure, I think. So, and then of course that leads a segue into the games today. We had the first meeting of the Ice Cats versus our team, the Desert Heat, and we won big time. And we'll hear more about that game probably from the captain of the Cats. I think we might have him ready on Alert 5 here soon.
We're going to have him come in and have a talk about it,
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the good, he might talk about the bad. So, and if we're going to talk about the good, we do need to talk about
Mr. Yesse.
Mr. Jesse. We were playing, when we played against the Qataris, Will was sitting beside me on the bench, and he just said, he's so much better than any of us, isn't he? And I was like, yup. Yup.
Well, I alluded to it earlier in the week when we had our game last week, and that Yesse was able to put it into a 6th gear, remember? And maybe he had a 7th gear.
And
today.
you might drop some turbo on that today or something.
That's illegal.
They might have got the Tesla insane mode.
There
or
should be a
it's
governor
called.
on that guy, right? You know how the golf carts have governors,
so
you can only go so fast on the course that you don't bang into the palm trees or whatnot. So maybe Mr. Yesse needs the league maybe might be trying to enforce a governor on Mr. Yesse.
Because with good goalies and people trying, he had a 7 and 5 today.
7 goals, 5 assists for we'll call him. Well, we'll dub him. We'll call him a Finish Flash.
The Finish.
We'll do
Finish
it.
Flash. That's it.
We'll
the
do
Finish
it.
Flash.
He's Qatar's Finish Flash.
The finisher.
Yeah. The Punisher.
The Punisher.
Oh my. He had 7 goals, 5 assists.
I'm glad he's on our team.
And I'm glad he's on our team. You have that one correct, Beggs. We're glad that he plays for the red and gold and not anybody else. So I know. I mean, we could talk about some other guys that were integral in the win.
Well, I mean, say another guy I wouldn't mind as good as the attorney of sniping, the Stephen
the
Robinson.
sinister of snipe.
The sinister of sniper, lawyer by day, sniper by night. Steve Robinson.
Stevie Robinson had another hattie. So Steve had a hat trick in his first outing for us at the beginning of the season, and he's been a little bit quiet since. Now I think
he has missed a couple games.
He's missed a couple of games, in all fairness, and he got back on track today with the hat trick.
Yeah,
3 goals,
6-1 now,
and Will, our captain, Will Dandino. Shout out to Will. Will had a good game. He had 2 and 5.
Yep. 2
assists, 5 goals. So that will get his blood curdling. That will get him.
He did run a half marathon in the morning. So to be fair,
well, that's true too. So
good on you, Will.
Good on you, Will. 7 points out. That'll get it done. So in the second game, who do we have?
Second game we had the Silver Surfers against the Oil Kings, who last outing they laid a pretty solid beating on them. I think it was like a 10-2 or something like that, or maybe even more. And this one was a much closer game. Good game through most of the game, and then kind of at the end, the Oil Kings got up on them. And then if you're up 3 goals and you're shooting on Qeason, you got a long afternoon ahead of you, right?
I do. It leaves me thinking that even though in a losing effort, Mr. Blake Mahalik, he made sure to, let me know on the way out that he wanted me to bring up his goal against Mr. Hayes on the 1-on-1.
Right.
You remember that one?
I do remember that one.
He was going in, and I think from ringside, myself and Jim and some others were watching, and we were all commenting, "No, don't try to beat him. No, just to get the shot." But he did. Blake took it to Mr. Hayes, and he did beat him with a bit of a dangle on the inside, and got him kind of back on his heels a little bit. Can't be done very often, right? So kudos to Blake. I told Blake I'd mention it, so there you go, buddy.
It was a good game. It was a good, tight, close game, and things are looking good in the league. They're on it. They've updated the post. So in first place, we got the Oil Kings with a 5-0-2. The Old Desert Heat 3-2-0. We've only played 5 games, so we still gotta make up to see where we can gain some points over this week.
Though, with our name being the Desert Heat, do you think we brought the heat today?
You know what I like about us?
Was it a spicy meatball?
You know what the thing is? We're doing it clean too. We have every other team in the league has 24 points. They have 24 penalty minutes, 30 penalty minutes. We have 6. We are clean
and
icy.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Do I not have a minor penalty?
No, I don't think so.
I think I'm a trillionaire there.
Yeah.
Zeros, no penalties.
Kyle's got one. I don't know who else got the other one.
I'm doing something right, I guess. What was I lost my train of thought. Where are we going further now with the standings here?
We got the Dune Bashers coming in with they've played 6, 2-3-1. Ice Cats 1-3-2, and then the Silver Surfers rounded out with 1-4-1, but they have been playing better. It's been good overall. Jesse's now got 26 points in 5 games.
That's a good average.
That's about 2 good seasons.
What do we have on the average there?
That's a 5.2.
That'll get it done in most leagues.
That's not a bad average.
The finish flash.
The finish flash. John Finnegan's got a 2.5. He's got 15 points. And Will jumped up. Will was in 10th, and now he's in 3rd with
after 7. He had 7 points on
14 points.
Yeah.
So the Heat are looking good. We were a bit crispy at each other after we lost to the Kings, but now it's all good in desert land, heat land.
So on that note, we take a little break and
we'll come back and talk to our man,
our guest,
our special. And we're back with our special guest, first live in person guest, Big Jim McInnes, captain of the Ice Cats, proud recipients of a Jesse rummaging and rampaging today.
Big L. Yeah.
So Jimmy, tell us a little bit about what brought you to Doha and your hockey background and whatnot.
Sure. No. This is my 3rd go round here in Doha. His first
Can't
year.
quit you. I can't quit you.
No, came here in 2004 originally. First question I was asked at the carousel belt was if I had my gear.
Really?
I was working offshore. You were 28 on drilling rigs there, so no hockey for me on my time off. I was on the first thing smoking out of here. And came back in 2016, came up from Perth. Already knew there was hockey here, so I brought my gear. Landed at 3 o'clock in the morning on the ice at 10:30 for shinny Friday morning, and drafted by 5 o'clock that evening at Champion. So yeah,
There was a whirlwind for you that week.
certainly.
So you're from PEI, right?
Yeah, from the East Coast.
So what's your hockey background in PEI?
Look, grew up playing hockey, competitive hockey there in PEI. Up through junior, drafted into major junior. It's a tough go, man. That's a high level hockey. It's tough being away from home.
Where did you end up going?
Beauport, Quebec.
Yeah, that's rough going back to right?
Yeah, so that's like pure French. I was the Anglais, right?
Right. If you're not doing well,
So,
a lot of that shit, right?
And they stuck me in grade 13 in CJAP or something. I didn't go to one class, man.
Beauport?
Beauport, yeah.
Beauport. Now, in relation to, let's say, Quebec City or Montreal?
Just outside Quebec City, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is-
Simon Gagne was our number one pick that year.
Simon Gagne, he drafted by the
Yeah,
Flyers?
his dad was coach, yeah.
He went to the
played
Flyers,
for
I
Team
think,
Canada,
yeah.
captain Team Canada,
That
yeah.
was Francais Soulmont area, isn't it? That's
Absolutely,
not-
yeah, that was tough, man. There's a couple other NHLers, Jody Shelley, played there. Eric Belanger, he ended up playing for the Kings. Jody Shelley, I misspoke, man. It was the big red-headed guy. Shit. Anyway.
Shelley? Also a Shelley? No.
No.
Wade Belak?
Gordy Dwyer. He's a referee
Dwyer,
now.
yeah, Gordy
referee
Dwyer.
now in the NHL.
Yeah.
And our goaltender, Martin Biron, played with the.
Oh, he's a color commentator for the Sabres Network.
Yeah, I played with the Sabres. Yeah. Anyway,
Marty Barron.
not not the longest stint there with them. It was like playing 7th D and just look, I wanted to come home. I could come home, play junior A, play power play, play PK. Anyway, it was fortunate.
So when you were playing all these different levels of hockey, and you're a big dude, you're playing defense most of your career, right? Or
Absolutely, all D.
So had to drop the mitts once or twice in your career, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that was part of it for sure.
Were you deemed the resident enforcer by some of your teams, or
No.
were you just somebody who would toss them when you had to toss them?
Yeah, as in certainly in the second tier, there was always somebody tougher than you on the team, right?
Do you remember anybody in particular that went on to a career that you might have fought of consequence? Anybody that comes to mind? Maybe did a stint in the AHL? Anybody that?
Yeah, no.
No.
Not really, no. And
I think what you were talking about when you were talking about playing in Quebec, one of the things is that you realize is that, like, at a certain point, hockey, like, how old were you when you went to Quebec?
16.
Right, and that is now professional. This is now if you're doing
Absolutely.
this, you are. You might get a call and be like, you've been traded to this, you're going to here, you're doing that, and you're a 16-year-old kid who's worried about the pimples on his back, and you're making decisions that have a deep impact on your whole life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you were expected to be on the ice every day, right? That's not like this was no part-time job or part-time team you were playing for. You're on the ice every day practicing. If you weren't on the ice, you're in the training room. That's just how it was, right? So, yeah. Good experience, but ended up coming back to PEI, to Charlottetown, and played with the Abbies there in junior A, got traded up to the Caps, and, yeah.
So you mentioned that it's your second time back in Doha now, so obviously your second time back in the QIIHL. How, comparing your two tenures, when you came here first, when was it,
2016 was the first time I played here, yeah.
And So you were here with us for a couple of years, a year and a half, or something like that, right?
I was here till 2018 and left for 6-7 months.
Right.
And
So
then
how
came back, yeah.
how would you compare the two times? Is the Q, like, is it going in the right direction? Are the players somewhat the same? The caliber of hockey the same as it was in 2018 when you left? Is it better? Is it somewhat the same, or do you think it's weaker than it was when you played back then? How do you see it now?
It's certainly different. In the 2018 time, that was a split league, AB. Where we are now with the mixed league, takes some getting used to. But if you look at our top level talent right now in the Q, it's probably the highest it's been, right? So really talented hockey players playing in the league right now, and
We spoke about that before on several occasions, that I do and you concur as well, that the league now is probably, you got 10 to 15 guys that are really, really talented, that could, that several of them have played high level hockey, junior A, junior B, senior hockey, national, international hockey, semi-pro.
We need the Qataris to come back. We need about 15 more guys, and then we have an A and a B. And that B would be...
We're a lot closer.
That A would be
So
pretty...
we're kind of in between. We have a lot of top end. We have a watered down middle, I'd say, maybe. And then you have like weaker players that never really played a lot of hockey. So consequently, when you have one division, it's hard to incorporate everyone into the same type of game, right?
yeah, no, everybody signs up, so everybody gets to play, but it can't be much fun for your high-end guys going against low-end guys, or the low-end guys playing against these ESAs and the beaters and the
Let me just say, my goal before the end of the season is to have Jesse intentionally pass to me. Jesse will have the puck. He will look at me. I will be open, and then I'll just see his eyes go. Nope. So my goal is to get Jesse to pass to me.
not an option.
As an option, I just want to be an option.
You want
right?
to spread the wealth, so to speak.
I just want. I maybe something we'll figure it out, but that's my goal. And to be fair, I don't blame him. I've been that guy in rugby. I've been that guy. I've been that guy that's like, no, not you. Skip out pass. That's what's going on. So my goal is, I don't blame him, but I'm gonna keep working, Jesse. I got you, buddy.
You could be his henchman, though.
Yeah. If anyone touches him, I got him.
You got him, yeah.
I got him.
You take a page out of Robinson's book there. Yeah, he's
Robinson, magical.
putting the puck in the net, man. Playing with the ESA.
So I guess we wanted to ask you about today's affair with us.
Sure.
You guys are the Ice Cats, and you've kind of had somewhat of a not a slow start, not a fast start. You're kind of in between. A lot of promise there. I think your roster is as good as anybody's roster. How do you see you guys developing and gelling as a team? Do you think today's game wasn't indicative of what you really have to offer? Where do you see the team gelling and going forward? What improvements do you need to have happen for the Ice Cats to challenge for the championship this year?
I certainly hope today's result isn't indicative of where things are going, but yeah, today was a tough one. We took it on the chin. That's our first game against the Heat. Our first game, another tough L against the Bashers. That's where we got to see, our first glimpse of John Finnegan there. He put 3 or 4 in against us, and then we adjusted. Played 2 great games against the Cats back to back, and then this is our first look at the Heat and the main man there yesterday, right? So hey,
pinch at your own peril, right?
Yeah,
Definitely pinch at your own peril.
We've talked about this in previous shows and stuff, that so often what's happening now with our league is it depends throughout the week and maybe even the days leading up to the game or whatever. it depends on how your attendance is going to work and how available the subs are for one team over the other, who shows up, and do you think that's going to be an ongoing trend throughout the rest of the season?
Certainly for the Oil Kings.
They're
built
still certain fights.
Built a little different, I guess, than the other 4 teams, but that's a Hayes' strategy. But it's always any given day, right? Who's there, who's not. Subs work, subs don't. So
it's kind of like you have to deal with it, right? It's one of these elements that's kind of indicative more so to rec hockey and the dynamic that's going on in Doha. You have people who have work commitments, and hockey's is a second thing for everyone, right? It's just an outlet for everyone to get out and enjoy some camaraderie and love hockey and get out there. So, it depends from game to game, week to week, who's there and how the captains adjust, I think, is the main. How the captains are able to incorporate subs into the roster. Who do I replace? Who do I need? Do I need a defenseman, or do I need a forward? I'm missing a defenseman, but maybe I'll go for some offense against this particular team. So it all depends on what the captains see is a way of competing against the team on any given night.
No, for sure. It's 26-game season. We're 5-6 games into the season. Nobody made the playoffs today. So.
Right. So there's a lot more.
At the end of the day,
hockey to go.
we play in a mall where people eat chicken fingers and burgers while they casually watch us play, and about 2/3 of the audience have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, just for our audience, we do play in a mall, so we do have the safety net up there like a normal NHL rink would for safety precautions. So the last thing we want as a hockey entity here in Doha is for somebody to take some frozen rubber off the bucket while they're eating a Big Mac in the mall.
I'll tell you what, on that sports day, one on Tuesday, whenever it was there, it was packed. There would have been 250 people around the rim of that thing watching. Guys from like India, Nigeria, like all over, just watching hockey. It was pretty crazy because they liked it. They were into it. You could see they were just, I don't think they understood when the whistles were going, but as a game, it was a good game, and there's nothing wrong with Jesse on a break or somebody coming down the wing.
So Jimmy, a couple of episodes ago, I think the first episode, or maybe it was the second one, we've only done 2, this is our 3rd. Beggs and I were talking about particular players that have caught your eye, that may be having a good start to the season, might be flying under the radar, that you didn't expect this play from somebody, they're surprising you, or somebody that's surprising you on the other spectrum that hasn't been as dominant as they have been in the past. Is there anybody in particular that you think has shone so far in the season that caught your eye and is making a difference in the league?
A bit of a homer. I'm gonna go right now with Thaddeus Wrestler, of course. Very talented hockey player. Shows up game in, game out, puts a puck in the net. So Thaddeus is working hard for us. Another guy sub for me today, Scotty Alton. He's got a motor that doesn't quit. Right?
He does go, doesn't he? He doesn't stop, that guy.
Yeah. So
for anybody that these guys came after you, Adam Lang, if you're watching, Adam Lang was a guy. I was watching Scott play today, and he skated. Adam Lang is a smaller version, believe it or not, than Scotty Alton. But the same skating style, just straight ahead fast, got some dipsy doodle to his game, and a finesse player. I'm not sure Scott would want to be taking on the physicality if we were, let's say, full contact. But finesse game, I think Scotty, he's right there. He surprised me, actually. I think he's one of the guys that I would think now, as the season progresses, that can be a real difference maker for the Surfers. The Surfers are going to need everything that they can get, and I think Scotty can help them out there going forward.
So before we let you go, Jim, one thing I want to talk about: your wife. Your wife is maybe the original hockey wife. Dare I say puck bunny? In Doha. She shows up to all your games, she wears the jersey, she gets dressed up, she had makeup on today, she looks great, she's like there. Tell us all about that. What's your wife's story about her and hockey?
Krista is from Fiji, right? So has never seen ice hockey or on TV or since we met, and started playing again in Perth, Australia. So Krista was coming out to the games, and Perth was full contact. We had fighting and everything. So my first fight,
Good job not having fighting in Perth, Australia, right? Like, why would they play?
I grabbed the first guy, and I fed him with an uppercut, and the guys on the bench said he came off the ice about 6 inches. Anyway, I come off the ice, and he's yelling. We go in, and I come out, and Krista's mad as a wet badger at me, and I said, "Well, what's wrong?" She's like, "You can't be getting in fights." "Oh, honey, I won. You can get mad at me when I lose." But yeah, no, she really enjoys hockey. So Perth was our first introduction to it. She'll come away to the trips with us. Likes the hockey guys. I mean, that's sort of what it's all about, right? Easy going guys, love to drink, love to have a laugh, So
That's great.
she fits in as a Fijian.
Does she give you any like feedback on your play and stuff?
No,
Does
not
she
so
critique?
much. After she got the fighting bit wrong, so
Right.
no, she doesn't say a whole lot. Like if we lose, or she knows I'm upset, or but she doesn't.
So outside of you, who's your favorite player in the league?
It'd be a tough one. I don't know.
She's Team Jimmy?
Yeah, I think so. She's a cat through and through, but I don't. She's never ever singled anybody out. She knows like the good players from the bad players, and she's standing there making videos and stuff, so she sees the puck go in the net quite a bit, right? So,
What kind of game does she like? Does she like a high score, and does she like a playoff 2-1 tension?
yeah, I'm gonna have to ask her. If she'd rather the highlight reel game, the 10-10, 11-10, or the 1-1s we were playing against the Oil Kings. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask.
All right. Well, thank you first.
Yeah, of course.
On that note, do we take a little break and
We'll be back.
we're back with more Jim McInnes?
2, 1. And we're back. And before we go any further, we need on the YouTube feed subscribers. Not because if we get 50 subscribers, we can start doing live streams. So we can start live streaming the games from the mall, and we can start putting them out so your grandma back home can watch them and all those kind of things. Right now we have, I think, 11. So we need 50 subscribers, and then we have to, otherwise we got to pay for it. On that note, going back into it, we're going to talk about something we've been percolating. The Qeason would like to present at the end of the year.
It's, like how they have the Screen Actors Guild Award, the Oscars, the Grammys, all this stuff. So in tradition with that, we're going to have
The Qeason.
the Qeasies.
The Qeason.
The Qeasies.
So this is, anybody in the league, anybody comment on these videos and stuff, give us some categories, because this is a thing in motion at the end of the year. We'd like to have it.
We want league input. We will formulate our own opinions, obviously, but we would appreciate league input to whatever categories that we deem that we're going to put up for these
most
awards.
improved player, these kind of things.
So-
but one of the ones we'd like to talk about, before my cat takes out the picture, is, don't show it too much, someone's going to claim it. What are our categories? I think one of the ones we need to talk about is, what was one be? Silky Mitts.
So the Silky Mitts Award.
I think Robinson would have to be up there for that. He's had 2 hat tricks and nothing else.
So he's a
When he shows up, he's scoring.
Silky Mitts Award.
Yeah. Who else? What do you
So-
got, Jimmy? Who's got some silky mitts?
Oh, Johnny Mayer for sure.
Johnny Mayer, yes, for sure.
Well, you can obviously go with the usual suspects like SA and
Maybe some of the
and,
Kings, but
and
they
Thaddeus.
haven't shown up.
Thaddeus.
So,
Thaddeus.
We haven't seen enough of Peter, our guy Peter. We haven't seen enough of Peter
haven't seen a whole lot of Yuri.
in Yuri.
No.
Yuri's only been out for 1 game. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of silkiness yet to be viewed, I think. But early front runner, we got to give kudos to our boy Robinson. We do.
Yeah,
He's got 2 hat tricks.
If he's got it anywhere in the slot, it's going in. He's got an eye for it. That's the.
So okay,
Given the.
You think he was a surgeon,
Johnny
not a
Garbage
lawyer?
or
he could no. That could be
or
more
what?
apropos.
Yeah.
It might be apropos to Johnny Garbage.
Who's a Johnny Garbage award?
Johnny, well, traditionally, Johnny is
rubber
Johnny.
band?
Johnny Vendetti has been coined Johnny Garbage
Yeah.
for his ability to snipe goals, and not always with the vigor of a snipe, but the vigor of cleaning out the trash.
Making the most of his opportunities.
I will make the most of that. Thank you very much. You left it there
should have had
backside,
one
and
of
I
those
will
today.
put it.
Oh.
But John, to be fair, I think he's a better player than he gets credit for. John, he does know the game. He's got an underrated shot.
Gets in flipping spots.
He does. He's got an accurate shot, and he's an underrated passer. He knows how to get the puck to and back. He will get it back, and he does put it up. So often is the case, he will put it in. If you leave him alone, he's going to put it in.
How about goalies? Stonewall.
Stonewall.
So I would say like
The brick.
you're on a breakaway. It's game tied. 7 seconds left.
Who do you not
What
want to
goalie?
face?
Yeah. What goalie are you like? Oh shit.
I don't want to have to beat Cormier. I think his lateral mobility is second to none. He's not a big guy, but he moves. He's cat-like. I liken him to before the run on the big goaltenders in the NHL now, where they all seem to be 6'5", 220 pounds. I liken Chris Cormier's game is reminiscent of Felix Potvin.
You're going there and bang.
No, Felix Potvin, the cat. He was very cat-like in his creep, back and forth, down in the butterfly, very square to the puck, hard to beat, and he's a big dude. Even though Cormier is not a tall dude, he's our Paul Bunyan.
What's the
He's a powerlifter,
new
right?
guy that came in? The guy from Blythe. We were talking about him last weekend.
Brandon
Brandon,
Bowen. Is it
yeah.
Bowen? I think his last name is pronounced Bowen. He's fundamentally sound. I'm very impressed with him. But for me, when getting back to who do I don't want to face on a breakaway. I don't want to face Cormier.
Tyson.
So for you, Thomas.
I am scared. Tyson, I have zero chance of. I'm already thinking this is not going to go well. Even if it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's a tough one, man.
How about you, Jimmy? If you were on the off clobbered chance that you're going on a breakaway.
And I'm not taking the slap shot from the blue
Yeah,
line.
like you happen to have the breakaway.
If you had a slap shot, who are you like thinking? Who are you thinking? This guy's probably got it.
No, the top goalies in our league, you can pick any of them. But if you're in one-on-one, I'm going
Game
with
on the
Mr. Unorthodox, Brian Vermeerlo.
Oh,
Going full
yes,
classic and stacking
yes.
minutes in.
Shout out to Brian.
Brian, one can argue, is the most consistent of our goaltenders. He seems to be always square to the puck, always in the right place at the right time, and he's a flopper though.
No, but you know what I like about Brian? Brian will let in a questionable early on, and then he gets a little bit fuck this, and he just becomes like, well, yeah, when he focuses in, unbeatable. Hey.
I think he doesn't have the traditional
Takes it personally.
Flop skill, or not flop skills, but the butterfly skills. He kind of is like old school. He's a lot like Dominic Hasek, and he will poke check you. Like our buddy Daniel did last week. Brian Manverlo, he looks to poke check people. That's he's told me. When somebody comes in on him, he's thinking poke check on a breakaway. He's thinking poke check right away. So what do? You break out the 60-degree lob wedge, don't you? And you chip it over that poke check.
Okay, so here's another one. On the opposite side
Brian,
of that.
I told you I'm going to do that.
Opposite side of that, you're on the other team's. And there's a breakaway. Who you not getting that? Like who's got if they have a bounce and they've got a jump? Who you not getting that? Who's got the fastest 3 steps going the other
so
way?
are we just going fastest skater out right here?
But not just fastest skater, but like fastest skater to like they're just going to separate away.
Sean's got to be there. ESA is going to be there.
Yeah.
You mean in an offensive standpoint, or
So
is he defending?
the puck
Either
just
Gator
goes
is
over the
gonna be there.
line. The puck just goes over the line in the defensive offensive end, and this guy gets on it. You've got an angle, but you're You're the
So it's going
defense,
to
and
be
you're trying
mostly
to.
a forward then. In
So it's
that
a
case.
forward, yeah, that's got a break.
Sean is probably who I would think is probably going to.
Thaddeus,
It's just straight out speed.
I think it'd be Peter or Sean.
the Peter from the Oil Kings. Yeah.
Peter. No, well, yeah, it
prosthetics would be there
it'd
too,
be.
yeah.
I think my three that come to mind right off the hop would be Peter K, who's on the Oil Kings. Peter G, who's on our team Desert Heat. His crossovers are crazy. And Sean McCollum, who is playing with the Surfers. Those would be my three that I'm thinking you're not catching it. You're not. You might have to pull a Begley and two-hand. That's the only way.
I'm clean. What are you talking about? So I guess we'll have to think about these anymore. Whether we have like some more,
The Queasies?
the
I've got a
Qeasons.
one. I'm going to call it not hardest. I'm going to call it heaviest shot. And we're going to.
Which one is if you're coming out towards it, you're thinking
We're going to
stick,
say and by definition, heaviest shot. We're going to go with a slap shot.
Jeremy by a mile.
Who has the heaviest?
Jeremy by a mile. I can
don't
tell
think
you
it's I don't think it's by no.
as playing a winger on that, I am like
Slap shot. I think it's Spence.
That's good too.
Benz, yes.
I agree, Jeremy. I'm not going to say I'd give the nod unanimously to Benz, but I think if we did a traditional slap shot competition where Benz has a 10-foot run up and can use all his weight, I think Benz might have the hardest slap shot.
Yeah.
Like an IF80.
But if it's from a
Al
stand, that
McInnes.
might be a little different. But I think if Benz can walk into one and use his 240 pounds, I think Benz might have the hardest shot.
I was saying if the puck comes out to the point on the D, and Jimmy's done this to me, but if there's a player that I'm thinking, oh shit, I hope my knee pad is actually where it should be, or I hope my equipment's where it should be, Jeremy's the first. Like Jeremy's the one that I'm
So you
thinking if I put my stick in the wrong place and this comes up and
So-
kind of gets me in the neck,
So you think so?
I might not be talking for a
This
week.
is a shout out to Biz Nasty and Whitney and the boys. Who do you think is going to be spitting the most chiclets? Like, what shot is going to spit the most chiclets out of somebody? Is it Benz or is it Jeremy shot? I think we agree that it's either one of
This
those.
one.
It's a heavy shot, nonetheless.
Jimmy hit me once on the wrist once, and it took me about 2 weeks before I could hold a pen.
Jimmy gets time and to do it. You're going to hit one with probably just as much
but
figure
not
as well
like
on a
those two.
consistent basis. Not like those guys. I guess the next thing is who has the best wrist shot.
Who's got the best dangles?
Best angles. That'd be Yuri when he
Yuri,
plays.
if he was, yeah.
Yuri when he plays, I think has the best. I think the best wrist shot is Peter Gago. Or yes,
How do you argue with Yessi?
you can't argue with the display he put on there. If he's got a spot, he's gonna hit it.
Yeah. He's got the fastest release for sure.
I think his release is faster than Peter's. I think Yuri's got the best angles from what I've seen in the short time I've seen him. He hasn't been around for any more than one. Like he came in the fall, but I've seen him a couple of times. Like he undressed John Finnegan a few times last fall, right? And I've yet to see him put it all together though in one game. So we'll see as the season goes forward. I guess that brings us to the week ahead. What do we got going on?
I don't know, we have to hold on a second.
Have a look.
Let's get it up here. Let's see what we got. It's the part where we need.
We got the Bashers on Sunday.
We play 3 times this week.
And I
We're
got the date circled on Tuesday.
against us.
Yeah, they're
Retribution Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, if we beat you in that game by the same as we beat you today, you guys are gonna feel sad for. You got some shit to work
I
out.
think
Beat us, period,
getting
yeah.
back to that game today.
I just hope you didn't show us all your tricks there.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you guys were missing the services of Callie the most.
Yeah.
If Calais is there, he settles everything down for you guys on the back end. He's able to defend Jesse to a certain degree, and yes, it's got to work a little bit harder to get his productivity going. So I think you guys missed, and obviously you missed Thaddeus. You didn't have Thaddeus today. We didn't have Peter, so we can call that a wash. We can call Thaddeus and Peter a wash. but then you guys not having Callie on the back end, I think inhibit you guys from settling it down late in the game, especially when Jesse was fired.
So Sunday we got this. We're playing the Surfers for the first time, and then you guys are playing the Dune Bashers in a repeat, and then we've got us on Tuesday against you guys, and then Friday finish off with Oil Kings, Dune Bashers, and Desert Heat against the Silver Surfers. You're off on Friday.
Yeah, you guys got 3.
It's a big week for us, right? We can kind of separate ourselves from the herd a little bit.
If we can get 2 more wins this week, that would be great.
Our confidence is so high when we have a guy who scores 14 points in a game, isn't it? We're just like 10, 10, 10, 10. Yeah, like this is what we need to do, da 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 da. But all we do is just go, Jesse, go. And then on defense, go, Jesse, get it.
Yeah, well,
And it works.
that's a number 1 pick. Right? That's what it's supposed to do. Boys.
Yeah. The thing is
Would you like to cut like a record and it'd be something like Rick Springfield from the 80s? It wouldn't be Jesse's girl, it'd be Jesse's boy.
But it's like, it's definitely like
Or can I shoot a puck
the thing in hockey is that, like, because of the skating, if it's a different level, it's like having a race car. Like other sports, you're limited by, like football, you're limited by 12, 11 guys in the field. You're only as fast as your feet can run, but whatever. But in hockey, if you are that next level above, you can just do things that, like, you can make mistakes and then just go back and get it because you're just gonna outskate and you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna do this, and it's like having a B button on the video game. Jesse can just go do. Oh, I'm gonna do this now. I'll go get that puck and then I'll swing around.
like Nintendo or something.
Yeah.
Or
See up Derek,
PlayStation.
who's standing in front of the net with his stick, and
Derek,
bank it.
get that tripod going there.
That's I'm king tripod these days. Low down.
Can't believe I gotta sit here and listen to this.
Listen to us. Hey, the thing is though,
Oh my Lord.
if we hadn't beat you guys today, we'd just be here like this, and you'd be going no. But because we're like who's coming second? Who's coming second?
The thing is, we can control whether or not he comes back to put it in our face.
Yeah.
Like if they drop us the next time, we can just say no. We won't invite you.
Yeah, you can make us eat some. You can make us eat some crow. So those games, I mean, I guess what are the ones that you're excited about for? I'm excited to see the Surfers. I'm excited to play against them.
I'm excited to see anybody play the Kings when the Kings have to go with 5. I can't lie. I'm excited about that possibility that there is going to come a time when you might have.
Would
to
Hayes sit one guy off and play D and forward, play the right wing, and have one guy rotate through the other 3?
Wow, that'd be unprecedented.
I think you can do it.
I'm pretty sure this. I'm pretty sure the stuff that El
What do you
Yefe
guys
was.
think?
This is the stuff that Jeff
Can
was.
that be attained or what? I don't know.
Yeah. No, guys, I'm good. Take a rest.
All right, I think on that was a great episode. Let's.
Wait, you're gonna shut it. Okay, we'll shut it down.
Oh, the good old hockey game.
And till next episode, keep your head up and stick on the ice.